Hey everyone, welcome to an exclusive segment for DARPAN magazine. While the Hollywood's biggest night is about to happen on February the 9th of 2020, yes, the Oscars are taking place once again, but there has been a lot of discussion on social media and in general as to why there is not enough representation for people of gender and color. And to give us more insight on this, I've got with me Professor of Journalism and Communication Studies at Kwantlen Polytechnic University, Lubna, Yusuf. Moosa, let's welcome her into the program. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, nice to have you on the program. So tell me a little bit about as to why we're seeing the lack of diversity with women, people of color, LGBTQ. What's going on here?
Well, even before I would say that definitely there's a lack of diversity out there. I'm just surprised by the audacity of the Academy, the way they kind of looked at this and the nomination that you see.
Right.
At the very core, I would say that the very composition of the Academy. So you've got like a 9,000 member Academy out there, the big club that you have.
Right.
And in this club, if you look at the composition, you've got like 68% of males and 84% of them are like white. So that means, there is some problem at the base of it, right? If the base is wrong, the building would ultimately collapse.
Right.
So you saw that there was something out there. So for that, you need to have equal representation of people of color, people of different race, different age, I would say.
Right.
And obviously the gender, it's the biggest thing because you didn't have any females out there as directors that have been nominated.
Right.
So I would say that is one of the core reason why you see the nomination that you saw. And this has been, they just kind of continued with the tradition that they have had. The Academy always had the tradition of doing it. People did raise voice against it. And you see that, it popping up all over again. So that's one of the reasons, I guess.
6 years ago or so, Oscars, #Oscars Too White. How much do you think that's helped to push this dialogue forward? Because we're seeing the same thing happen again. So I'm wondering, how much has social media, especially Twitter, really played a part in all of this?
I would say that since we are living in an age of social media, definitely you can't imagine a day without social media.
Right.
So the hashtags do play an important role in pushing any dialogue ahead, right? It did start, but I wouldn't say that we should be very happy that we are entering into like 4th or 5th consecutive year of the same hashtag.
Right.
Because if there is something that we do for a cause, if there's a hashtag that's been raised for a cause, you definitely have to come up with a solution. And you no longer need to use that hashtag. Unfortunately, though the dialogues have moved ahead, obviously people are talking about it, it creates a lot of awareness, right?
Right.
So now it started off way back then. You've got people using the hashtags again on Twitter. Now you've got Instagram. Everywhere you've got these hashtags that are being used. So it does move you ahead, but, it kind of brings awareness. But, at the end of the day, is it being implemented? Are we very proud that we are entering into 6th year of hashtag that was actually made to bring about a social change, which never happened. So it's not a successful campaign. It's definitely, I wouldn't term it as a successful campaign in terms of entering into 6th year, but it is successful in bringing out awareness and people are talking about it at least.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. When women or people of color are pursuing film and television, do you think that this kind of deters them from pursuing a career in those industries?
Before I answer, I would like to add this. Lupita had done a great job in Us Too, right?
Yeah.
So there are people who have been doing great and amazing jobs. The women are doing great jobs. The women of color are doing great jobs. But again, as you rightly mentioned, it will definitely deter them. It's like if a kid is doing like a great job, if like, for example, my student is doing amazing in his work, and if I don't grade him properly, he would definitely, he would either withdraw the course. He'd be like, whoa, I've been working really hard for it, and I don't get the returns. People say that you don't work for returns, but at the end of the day, you need recognition, right?
Yes.
Important point that, I would like to highlight here that my students came up with. They're like, okay, if this is happening at an international level, this will promote people at the smaller national level. So different countries would now, feel, it's good to just nominate males. right?
Right.
So it would affect the grassroots people out there. So this would not only deter people on the bigger platform that you
Right.
see, like Hollywood.
Right.
It would affect the lower and the other film industries all over the world, right? They would learn from what they get from the higher authorities that as we mentioned, right?
Right.
So it definitely would deter females. They would be like, oh, if I'm to work so hard, Jennifer Lopez. I mean, who would think that
you didn't get nominated.
You don't get nominated. I mean,
Right.
such a great actress.
Right.
So most certainly, people would think twice before actually putting the kind of efforts that they are putting in. Female directors would think twice that, oh, if I'm putting in like such great efforts, like Greta did a great job with Little
Right.
Women,
Right.
but you don't really get the recognition. And there's one who finally got the
Yes.
recognition, Cynthia, but predictably so because of the role that she played, that of a slave.
Right.
This shows how Academy is recognizing people of
The
different
thought process.
the thought process.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, then this would encourage people to just get into stereotyped roles. Black women would be showed the way they are being showed, right? There wouldn't be a change from what they are being showing. So coming up with more nominations, or like one of my students pointed out, you shouldn't just have a category where you just got 8 nominations. Make it to 9, make it to 10. So
Right,
you could get in more and more people, or you get more and more films into it. So yeah, it does deter, and you really need to work for it. I mean, yeah, that's what I feel.
Great. Well, thank you so much for taking the time with us. We truly appreciate it.
I thank you so very much. It was a pleasure being here.
Thanks. To watch DARPAN's videos on what's happening, what's new, what's trending, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Like and share and subscribe.